A few weeks ago, I made the decision to purchase my own MA3 lighting console. And it is such a huge and scary and exciting proposition. And in this video, I'm gonna talk about all those things and more. Avid viewers of my channel will remember I uploaded recently a video where Act Lighting sent me a Grand MA3 Compact XT console to kind of give me some sort of hardware and software interface to give their development team feedback on future implementations and future features, things that we want as users. And I was really honored to be a part of that. Unfortunately, the console that Act Lighting sent to me had some hardware issues. They asked for me to send it back, and ever since then I have not had an MA3 console to be working on. I saw this really more as an opportunity because with this upcoming tour with Louis the Child, by the way, come see us out on tour if we're coming through your area. I'd love for you to come see the show. I really wanted to use that show as an opportunity to see the differences in workflow between creating a show on MA2 and creating the same show on MA3, like a Q for Q duplicate, just to document the differences in workflow and be able to make content for you guys watching this video to see, okay, does it make sense to transition to MA3? For me, it finally makes sense to get fully on board with it. So I saw, me having to return the Compact XT more as a sign that, okay, you really need to jump in with both feet, which is why I decided to purchase a Grand MA3 Lite. Yeah, maybe the biggest financial decision I've ever made, but I think it's really gonna pay off in the long term. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that and talk about why I am not going to be selling my MA2. So I'm really excited for what the future holds, and I'm excited to take you guys along for it. So let's head over to R90 Lighting. James just let me know that the console is there, ready for me to pick up and bring back, and I couldn't be more excited. So let's go check it out. Once again, you're totally fine. You have nothing to worry about. Now, you on the other hand, I think we might. We might need a replacement for the beams by flow.
Beautiful.
New toys.
New toy.
You know what? Ooh.
Ta-da!
That is the last time that rotation ever looked that good.
Ooh. I think at least somewhere on here will be a QR code with never gonna give you up, Rickroll.
Oh, good, yeah.
Because I know someone's gonna be like, what is that for? And they'll scan it.
That's actually a good point.
And they'll get Rickroll.
I've a module for a Volvo station wagon. Kind of reprogrammed it to play Rickroll.
Yeah.
So every time his wife opened the car door, it would just start. I think it fits perfectly. Let's see.
Like, I don't think it gets much closer than that. I wonder if it'll actually close. It does. And look at this, not only does it close, but I can use the
cargo cover as well. So sick. All right, before we crack into this for the first time, I want to let you know that there will be absolutely zero tolerance for any cargo shorts slander that I see down in the comments. So let's keep it clean down there, all right, guys? Thanks. Oops. Also, I need to figure out what I'm actually gonna like put on the case. I feel like it's beautiful right now and it's super clean, but I want to put something like unique and memorable on here. So I don't know. I've got a couple ideas, but let me know down in the comments. What do you think I should be covering my my case with? I'm really interested to see your thoughts. Ta-da. Some people like put down payments on houses, and other people buy lighting consoles that aren't fully developed yet. All right, let's get her up on the standing desk and get it plugged into the network. It's a little sketchier than the Compact XT. Okay, yeah, I can still do it. Okay. This is the dust cover, looks like. Let's take a look here. This little Ziploc. Yeah, so this is the dust cover, which, this is still the, yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about the dust cover, I think in a different video, but it doesn't really make sense to me how this thing goes on, because it's like, I don't know, it just like slips over the screen, but then, like, is this really how it's supposed to, like, clearly that's how it goes, but then when you go to, like, do you then take it off and then, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know, never thought I'd be so befuddled by a cover. And true one to PBG, or Edison, as most people call it. Sweet, what a deal. All right, let's get some spicy electrons. Oh shit, it's on the other side. All right, spicy electrons. Into our power, pull up our main switch, and without further ado, there we go. These backlit encoders, by the way, were another one of the reasons that I decided to go with the Lite instead of the Compact XT. I really was considering the Compact XT, but it just, well, we'll get into it in a second. Well, here we are. At the beginning of the day, I was equal parts scared and excited for the prospect of owning my own MA3. But as I've gone through the day and as I've seen this nice little piece of hardware sitting in my office, and I've been programming my festival template stage kind of on the side here and getting it all set up and ready to actually delve into MA3 in a real way, I've just been more and more excited, and the fear that I had the whole past couple of weeks with the whole process of buying the console has all but vanished, and that just makes me really happy to feel that way. And this feels a lot different than when I bought my MA2 a couple of years ago. When I bought that console, it was almost purely a utilitarian thing now that I look back on it. Of course, it's really exciting to own your own console because it opens so many doors and it provides a new revenue stream if you're doing rentals, that sort of thing. But at the time, there were almost no downsides to me purchasing an MA2. Whereas right now, there's a lot of uncertainty with MA3. So in a way, really making a decision to buy an MA3 it's a different kind of investment. So when I was buying the MA2, it was pretty much just a money thing. But with MA3, I feel like I have an opportunity to kind of get in on this ground floor and be a part of the development process. And it's more of an investment in where I want to be in the future as a programmer and someone who can kind of help shape the way that the next generation of lighting control develops. And I'm not saying that in a way like I feel like I have the best ideas in the whole world, but I know that I love being behind the console and I love doing shows. And so it really only makes sense to try to be at the forefront of the next wave of development. And I feel like this is it. It's funny actually, I'm looking over at my MA2 Lite right now, and I can remember the first time I actually got to use one. And at the time I didn't know anything about MA2, I didn't know what it was, how to use anything on it, I couldn't even patch a fixture. But I was working at a music festival up in the Seattle area, and Aaron Altmark from Visual Endeavors, he's an incredible LD, incredible designer, and a really, really humble dude. He let me take control of the main stage, and he was running an MA2 full size, and this was in broad daylight at like, I think probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And at an outdoor electronic dance music festival at 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of summer. Let's just say that the light show, no one's really going to notice who's running it. I just remember being engulfed by this overwhelming feeling of having no idea what I'm doing, because up until that point, I'd only been doing like 1 or 2, maybe 4 Universe shows. Like that was a huge deal for me at the time. And being at the board and being able to control, I think it was like probably like 140 Sharpies or something like that, and not knowing what I was doing on his show file, it just really struck me as a moment of like, this is what I want to do. And I've always been really envious of the people who were able to get in on the ground floor of MA2, and those people were able to kind of shape the development of the hardware and software for that generation. And ever since that experience at front of house, I knew that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And it was finally like that final little puzzle piece that just fits in perfectly, where you realize like, okay, this is the path forward. And that was the moment for me, really. I knew that I had to put the hammer down and focus on learning MA2. And that's what I did for 4 or 5 straight years, using basically just on PC. To learn how to program and create shows in MA2. And the only real problem with that was once I had gotten to a point where I could make a pretty decent show with MA2 and I kind of understood what was going on with it, the development process had kind of stopped, and energy had focused into creating what we now know as MA3. And so that's why this is different this time. I feel like I am in the right place at the right time to be a part of this new development and be a part of this next generation, like I said. And if I'm completely honest with you, the MA3 software version, what is this? 1.4.2 is actually less featured than the current MA2 software. I can make a better show on MA2 right now. Truly, I'm thinking of this as less of an investment in where I am right now and more of an investment in where I want to be in 3, 4, 5 years. I understand that this topic is even more narrow than the videos I usually put up on this channel, which already have an insanely niche audience already. But I didn't want to make this like a, oh, look at my brand new MA3, and instead make this a video about why I want to be a part of this next, what I hope is the next big thing. And let's not kid ourselves, lighting manufacturers and console manufacturers have a long history of totally screwing things up when they are in the lead. And just because MA2 is generally considered, you know, one of the more advanced lighting control platforms, super popular, a lot of people use it, it doesn't mean that MA3 is automatically assured to be that way. And so that's the scary part for me, because here we are 3 years into MA3 and we're just now getting the first, what I would consider, real version of software that I would put out on a show. But one of the things I am super excited about that I'll probably make a video about here up next. With the MA3, we have the possibility of using these, these MA Viz keys. So it was a huge issue with MA2 with being able to use external visualizers aside from MA3D, or using one of, I think, the 2 software suites that allowed for unlimited parameters visualizer-wise, that being Vectorworks Vision and WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get from CAST software. So that was a huge plus. The other thing is basically the doubling of all parameters means that the MA3 light has twice as many parameters as the MA2 light that I have. And with 8,192, that means that this console can run probably 85 to 90% of the shows that I encounter on a year-to-year basis. We're talking like aside from like huge festivals where I'm like guest LDing, but if I am the person who's like designing the show, I have not yet designed a show that would reach over the 8,192 cap. Maybe this year. Let's fingers crossed for that one. One of the big things that really kind of solidified my decision to go through with the purchasing process on an MA3 is the fact that this next tour that we have coming up is going to require 2 consoles. And on the last tour, they rented my MA2 light, and we rented an MA2 full size from LMG. But this time around, we'll be able to use both of my consoles, and that MA2 rental is also subsidizing the MA3 rental a little bit, so that really kind of helps ease the pain of putting up that much cash for a console. And that's also another reason why I decided to not sell the MA2, because a lot of people were asking over on Patreon, like, okay, are you gonna sell the MA2 and then buy the 3, or are you going to just get like a compact XT? But it really just made more sense to have 2 lights, MA3 light, MA2 light over there. Hey, buddy. And a big part of that decision was actually just the physical nature of it. So I can one-man load an MA2 and an MA3 light by myself. I can take them out on tour. They're not so large that they're unwieldy. And I really do think that the light is the perfect console size, just my personal opinion. So to sum up this already lengthy video, I am buying an MA3 not because I expect to get rich off of renting this out for festivals, shows, tours, whatnot. Although it does help subsidize the expenses of owning and operating this over the next, I don't know, I'll probably have this for a while, but I expect it to last 10 years. No, I'm instead buying this and really investing in the process, because I remember that feeling of magic and that feeling of connection when everything just kind of clicked in my mind, like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. And that was with MA2, and that was 6 or probably maybe even 7 years, I think it was 6 years ago. And ever since then, I've always thought like, wow, it would be so incredible to be a part of creating a system that can create that connection. my whole experience with MA2 ever since that day kind of felt like that meme where it's like, you know, born too soon to explore the galaxy, born too late to explore the Earth, and you're kind of like stuck in the middle where like everything around you has been explored and discovered, and everything that is yet to be discovered is like way out of your reach. So I really kind of like felt like I was sandwiched in this weird time where I just didn't get in to lighting control early enough to be on the ground floor with MA2, but now I'm here with MA3, and it makes me really excited to see where the software and hardware are going to go, and see if I can play any sort of part in shaping how this console can help create that magic on the stage that I remember from that day a long time ago. And before I go, I want to extend a huge thank you to all of my supporters over on Patreon. I feel like this last year has tested all of us more than we ever thought we would be tested. And the folks over there have been instrumental in helping me get through this pandemic unscathed and given me a couple sanity checks throughout the way. So thanks to all you guys over on Patreon, as well as the folks over on the Discord. So if you're not a part of either of those, make sure to go down to the description and check out the links to participate if you're into that sort of thing. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.